Well, guys, the number one priority for the offseason, the summer has come and gone, and Luke Hughes is now officially a training camp holdout. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And wow, I truly did not think it would get to this point. From months ago, I was hoping that, September, a couple days before the first day of camp, it's the 17th they report. I was hoping, 13th, 14th, we saw something, and this has the potential to be a disaster. It's obviously going to continuously be a distraction. I would imagine at camp, if any of the reporters are doing their job, and I'm sure some of them will be asking these pertinent questions relating to Luke. Tomorrow, it will be the first day that the boys will be on the ice, and the reporters, outside reporters anyway, will have access to talk to anybody. And I'm sure it will be a topic of discussion. I am also sure that there will probably be... Did that announcement say that Fitz would be available? I got to check back. Someone posted something about the availability of Fitz, but I would not be surprised if you do not see him, if Luke is not signed tomorrow. And I really expected, like I said, from months ago, I really thought a couple days before camp it would get hashed out. It seems like there's obviously some sticking points here. And then, as we got closer to today, even last night, I was like, okay, today was the first day where they do a bunch of medical stuff and blah, 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 and media nonsense. And so not anything on the ice, not exactly pertinent, but I expected it to come out today. I really did think it was going to come out today. And after today has now come and gone and there's still no announcement, it is a little unsettling, I would say. A little unsettling, to say the least. I'd be super curious if it's an issue of the years, or if it's the money, a combination of both. I can't see really any scenario where Fitz does give him the 5 years and the ability to be a free agent with Jack. I mean, it would just be insane, unless he obviously signed for some ridiculously low number, which I do not see as a possibility either. I think this guy's going to get paid one way or another. And listen, a lot of people were kind of burying Luke for it. I can't be one of those people. Like I said, when I was a kid, a teenager, I kind of thought that way. And I get why people think like that. Listen, obviously, I want the team to get the best deal possible. I want this team to win Stanley Cups, yada, yada. But if I'm being fair about it, and I have to be, I try to be completely honest and fair all the time with all these topics, is that if you guys were Luke Hughes, you'd do the same shit. You would do the same damn thing he's doing. So I'm not going to come on here and talk smack about a guy who's trying to set himself up financially. I mean, listen, it is what it is. Hopefully he does leave some of that meat on the bone, as Fitz likes to say. Give the team flexibility to build the best overall roster they can with the cap constraints, and hope we win a damn cup. But this is a huge point in the Fitzgerald tenure, obviously, how this gets settled. Hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully it's the 8-year deal. And then the Quinn countdown will begin. But we start off earlier in the day, first day, and there's the training camp roster. And then obviously everyone freaked out because 43, Luke Hughes, noticeably absent from the defensemen. But you see all the forwards there. Some PTO guys on the list, some young guys. My man Shane LaChance looking to crack the lineup. Curtis McDermott, obviously, can never forget about Curtis. We got the Crookshank. Some other old familiar fill-in call-up names, Nathan Legary. Jack Malone looked, I thought, decent in the Prospects Challenge as well. Paulie Cotter, Hallinan, Schmelzer, Malofsky had a great tournament. Some of the other kids from the Prospects Challenge, Bordalo, Cam Squires, Gritsuk, Juho Lamico, Tag Bertuzzi, son of Todd Bertuzzi, feisty kind of kid. He was kind of all over the place. He had a pretty good tournament as well in Buffalo. Jack Hughes, Philman, Mercer, and then the D is obviously just stacked. Just stacked. Love to see the defensive depth. Diot had a pretty good prospects challenge. Jim Dowd's son, Jimmy Dowd Jr., Ethan Edwards. Vandaliste is a big boy. He had a nice goal in the prospects challenge as well. And then in net, you got our tandem of Jacob Markstrom, Jake Allen, and then you got Romanov, who was a PTO, Nico Dawes. Very curious to see what becomes of him. Tyler Brennan, Jeremy Brodeur, and my man Jakob Malik. But yeah, everyone obviously freaks out and made a big deal of the fact that Luke wasn't listed there. And it's, much ado about nothing. He did not have a contract as of this morning when they made this graphic. And so it goes out without his number 43 on it. I mean, it is what it is. And people freaking out all day. And yeah, hopefully this doesn't carry on. I mean, it is a shame that it's come to this. And it would be a real travesty if he misses preseason games. I mean, at this point, they have 3 days on the ice before the first preseason game. So even if he misses one day, and I think even if the contract gets announced even tomorrow morning, he probably would not be on the ice tomorrow. So at this point, it seems like he's already missing at a minimum a day of camp. And you're like, oh, a day of camp. But if there's only 3 days of camp before the preseason game, I mean, that's a third. 33.3% repeating of training camp missed with missing one day. And so, not the end of the world, but obviously not ideal. We want to come out of the gates flying. The October schedule is brutal, and we can't get into a hole because it could be potentially a hole you can't dig yourself out of if you get off to a slow start. They need to start on solid footing. But yeah, the Luke thing continues. And like I said, I can't kill the kid. Again, unless the details leaked, right? I always say I would give the asterisk there, because if it comes out like, oh, Fitz offered 8 years, $9.5 million or something, and he said no, then I'm like, okay, then I will start judging people. But without that sort of concrete evidence as an overarching concept of guys trying to get paid, I can't fault the kid. But hopefully it comes out tomorrow. I mean, if this drags on and on, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be absolutely brutal. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Tick, tick, tick. Clock is ticking. Oh, it is ticking. Is this a Mercer timetable? Or if it was a Mercer timetable, I think it would have came out today. I believe that's when the Mercer one did, like the first day. So we're already beyond that, I believe. Joe Cade, what's up? Is there anything shareholders can do right? Traveling. Fitz was added to the Olympic team as assistant GM. Yeah, I saw that, as well as the equipment manager, Chris Scarpetto. Was named to Team USA as well. That's going to be awesome for him. The frickin' German says, if you think the Luke deal is terrible, just wait for the Quinn deal. I mean, the Quinn deal, what, when he's a free agent? I mean, we're going to hopefully have his two only brothers, and he's going to have to sign something realistic. DA says, imagine a world where everyone takes a reasonable deal so you can build a winning team. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but we don't know what the situation is. Like, there is a chance that the reasonable deal does happen. I'm hoping it does. Ryan says, Florida rules hockey world 4 out of 6 years. I mean, yeah, the Panthers are a juggernaut. M. Sharp, hopefully just ironing out the details. Is Fitz gone yet? No, he certainly is here. And hopefully he's, what did they call it? They said grinding, a lot of grinding. Grind away. We need an 8-year deal. Dubs is like, this is squarely on Fitzgerald and no one else. He knew what the market was since last year. He signed Kovacevic and didn't make any trades to free up the $9 million to pay Luke. He didn't expect this. I think he did. In his defense. And, again, I try to be fair. I think no matter what, this scenario was probably headed for this no matter what, given the stakes, who Luke's agent is and everything involved. It just seemed like this was kind of fate. I was hoping it was going to be avoided, but this is the type of showdown that seemed by and large unavoidable, I think. And who's going to flinch a little bit first? I just want to see it get done and see Luke come in here and dominate. Where's Dawes traded to? I mean, people have speculated that the Devils could carry 3 goalies. I mean, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't know. Maybe he is packaged with somebody in a trade. It's a very interesting scenario. Traveling, wonder if Jack is going to let Luke know if he wants to be on the team, just sign. Yeah, it was funny a couple years back when Luke was, or Jack rather, was saying something along the lines of, you could say you want to be here, but you got to sign the contract or something like that. But this is all obviously a very calculated kind of thing here. And like I said, does he miss preseason games? All of the preseason? I mean, wow. It's a lot. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Jack talking smack on Dougie by saying Luke should be on power play 1. I saw that quote, and I thought that was I thought that quote was from a while back. Is that a recent quote? I meant to circle back on that because I saw that making its rounds, but I thought that was an excerpt from like, let me see. I did see that with Jack talking about Luke being on power play 1, which is kind of, I think this is a new quote. Yeah, so what's the next step? And let me just send this. Hold on. I'll pull this up. I mean, wow. That is, I don't know why I thought that was a snippet from an old interview or something. All right, so here it is. Let me pull this up. Oh boy. Come on, you stupid thing. I hate technology. Oh my God. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Trying to tee this up. This is a kind of juicy. It is a bit of a juicy tidbit. Hold on. All right. What's the next step in Hughes' evolution? And this is from Jack Hughes. Hopefully Luke could come in and be on power play 1 from day 1. Brother Jack Hughes said at the player media tour. That's super important for him because he's got so much upside. And when we do give him these things that all the other number 1 Ds around the league get, we get a great return. But then sometimes he gets taken away from the power play. So my hope for him is that he comes in, he's on our power play 1 to start, and the rest of the game, he'll take care of himself. He's a great skater. He's a really good defender too. I think he could be a true number 1 for us. He's going into his 3rd full year. I think as a group, we should expect him to be a true number 1. Oof. That is a bit, I don't know what you want to call it. I think you could categorize it as like indirect shade. It's like indirect shade, but I mean, it's really not even that indirect. It's pretty direct. Yeah. I mean, hopefully Luke could come in and be on power play 1 from day 1. I mean, oof, that is a little heavy in my opinion. Now, do I think it's a conversation? It's definitely a conversation. But I don't think at this juncture I could definitively say that Luke deserves it over Dougie, if I'm being honest. I don't know that I could just hand that over from Dougie. And I'm hoping for a big year from Dougie. I really am. I would like to think, well, I don't know if it's how I would like to think, but I'm hoping that he's more healed or whatever than last year. Now, maybe he was fully healed last year. A lot of us obviously recognize that the patented Dougie bomb from the point seemed to have kind of disappeared, and he was utilizing more of like wrist shots, little snappers. Still an unbelievable shot and could snipe goals. but it's not the just cannon blast slappers that we were accustomed to from the couple seasons before. And I'm hoping that we see that return, and maybe that was a function of him not being fully healed from that surgery. I don't know. Maybe it's just gone for good. But if Dougie could return closer to his 22-23 form, and listen, he didn't have a bad season last year before he got hurt, for the record. For all the people, let me just make sure, you understand, because people like to talk smack when it comes to Dougie, and I'm not going to stand for it. I will defend the man. He had 40 points in 64 games. So nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. Extrapolated. I love that word, extrapolated. 40 points in 64 games is a 51-point pace for an 82-game season. But yeah, I don't know that I could just give that spot to Luke over Dougie. But hopefully Luke could come in and be on power play 1 from day 1. I mean, that's pretty loaded. I do think it is a little loaded. But there you have it. That was the quote that someone just referenced. And who knows? Obviously, that's, a brother advocating for his brother to be on power play 1. But interesting. Very interesting. How I got here, Jeremy Proper says, Jack talking smack on Dougie by saying Luke should be on power play 1. I don't think it's, I wouldn't classify it as smack. It's a kid, openly, like I said, openly advocating for his brother to be on power play 1. And I totally get it. I don't know, how that's kind of viewed. It's a very peculiar scenario, and it was in a player media tour. So it was kind of, it's very, it's all just very strange. I don't know, but I'm not going to kill the guy for it. LT, Boozeface will lose Dawes on waivers just like Wedgwood. I mean, that would be crazy. He should just trade him for whatever you could get. Michael S says, at least we'll get to see Casey in the meantime. Love me some Seamus Casey. Maria D, how you doing? Scathing. Husky Unchained says, I call it a clown show. John Fay, I ain't being that guy, but I do think Luke is ready for power play 1, but that's my opinion. I mean, listen, if Dougie wasn't on the team, would I be like, oh my God, I'm worried Luke is power play 1 quarterback? Absolutely not. If you have no one else, what a great guy to have in that spot. But we do have Dougie. And so for me to just be like, give it to Luke, I just think it's, a little premature in my opinion. Larry says, is it too early to start the Fired Fitzgerald chant going? Michael S., the Luke on power play 1 talk is exactly why I don't want Quinn on the team. No successful team has 3 unaccountable players that make all kinds of crazy demands. I don't know that it was a demand. It was a public suggestion. I wouldn't classify it as a demand. It's a public suggestion. I understand the sentiment somewhat, Michael, but I don't know. Or maybe Jack's like, let Luke play power play 1 because he knows that once Quinn comes, Quinn is going to take power play 1, and then Luke won't have that anymore for the foreseeable future. And so maybe that's what Jack's trying to do. He's trying to be the good middle brother, and he's like, listen, let little brother get the shine. Let him play power play 1 because once Quinn gets here, it's all over. It is all over. But my God, imagine a power play unit with all 3 of them. I'd imagine. I do think all 3 of them are going to be here. I really do. I don't think it's just like some nonsense. I think it is probable. And I do think a power play with all 3 of the Hughes brothers on it. Can you imagine all 3 Hughes plus Jack and Bratter? Or you just, any other 2 guys, the 3 Hughes with any other 2 guys, Nico, Timo, Nico and Bratter, man, the possibilities are endless, but wow, what a lethal power play that would be. J-Dog says move Dougie while he still has value. And who knows, maybe that's still potentially lurking in the background of all of this as well. Kovacevic has not been put on LTIR yet, and maybe that's not the way they plan on fitting Luke under the cap. Perhaps there is a Dougie deal still kind of looming in the background. I hope not. I do think it'd be premature. I have my thoughts on Dougie and his role on this team and his value and all of that is well documented. I'm not going to go on the whole spiel again, but I do think Dougie would have value, assuming he has a decent year, J-Dog. I do think he'll still have decent value after this season. And I think that's a more logical time to try to move on from him, assuming that, Luke is healthy and good and Nemitz is the guy we think he is and he stays healthy. But I think next season is more likely. Or potentially sooner in a potential Quinn deal, which would be crazy. Or in a separate deal in relation to Quinn coming. Cape Dollar Jack has an arrogance about him. You could see it in his post-game interviews. Now he's lobbying for his brother on Power Play 1. How insufferable will they be if the three of them are here? No, I mean, I get all of it, guys. I mean, I don't think it's, I understand why this stuff could rub people the wrong way. I get it. I don't love it. I'm not going to say I love it, but it's a peculiar, unusual situation. This is pro sports. These are young kids with lots of money, big egos, and stuff like this happens. I'm not too bothered by it like some of you are, but I do totally understand where you guys are coming from with this. I do. It is it is a somewhat of a fair concern, I think. Dun, dun, dun. Oh boy. Woodson says, obviously Jack runs the organization and team. Cancer, he got to go. SJ, Quinn is a beast, though, better than the other two. Well, obviously, Quinn is one of the best players in the league, guys. I mean, if you're not, when it comes to the brothers, Quinn is the best one by far, in my opinion. By far. I think if Jack stays healthy and puts together some big seasons, he could kind of close the gap a little bit. But Quinn is undoubtedly one of the best players in the league, so he is the best brother. Frank says, to Mike Less, it was a statement, not a demand. I agree. Demands and just kind of talking openly, very different. Michael S. Dougie is great, but he makes too much money on the very deep side of the ice. I get with the Dougie stuff, but $9 million for Dougie now in today's cap climate is not. It is not the atrocity that many of you believe. It really isn't. Wooden says, maybe Jack should worry about playing all 82 games before he has a say in coaching decisions. Michael says, Frank C., anything Jack says to the press is a demand. Mark, Hamilton, Mercer, Nemitz, first for Quinn. Done and move on. Oh, dude, that's a lot. Come on, Mark. I don't know that I do that deal. I actually, let me think about this. Hamilton, Mercer, Nemitz, first. Oh man, that is a ton for 2 years. No, I don't think I do that deal, Mark. I'm vetoing that deal for 2 years. That's just no, because if you literally don't win a cup in those 2 years, Quinn would resign. Yeah, I mean, you can't really judge the deal until the end of it. I mean, if it resulted in a cup at any point, then it's a win. But I don't like creating holes to bring in pieces. And Mercer would be a sizable hole, in my opinion. Despite what many of you guys think about him, this team is better with Mercer than without him in the lineup. And, I'm fine with Dougie going in a deal for Quinn because it's D for D. So it's like, okay, we lost it, but Quinn's right, so that's, as much as I love Dougie, I'm not going to feel that loss in this deal. Nemitz is a tough one because he could really blossom into being a freak defenseman, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. But then when you're talking about 2 firsts with that, and again, you guys know I don't value first. Those should be trade chips to fire away to get win now pieces. So the first I'm not that bothered by, but for me, Mercer and Nemitz is tough too. Like, that's just a lot. I don't know. I don't know that I could pull the trigger on that. I'm sure tons of you guys would. That one I just think is a little too steep for my blood for 2 years, because again, obviously there's a great value to have Quinn 2 years earlier, but if he wants to be here, he could come here in free agency in 2 years. So Nemitz is like a long-term, should be a staple on D. And to lose that with Mercer, I think that's a bit much for me. Now, if you swap Nemitz with Casey and then Mercer with something else, then I think you're closer to what I would be comfortable with for the 2 years. But that is expensive, Mark. That is expensive. Traveling says, give it a couple weeks of regular season and see who's better. Woodson, Jack Luke for 7th rounder. Oh, boy. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Who makes it? LeChance, Haminaho. I do think if I had to bet on one guy, it would be LeChance, just because of, he brings an element that we don't have a ton of on the team with that size, with that power, with the grittiness, with what he does. So I would definitely go LeChance. But it's going to be tough. Like I talked about in a previous video and lives and things, is that when you look at what the roster really, like, there's really no spots that are really questionable. The guys are kind of cemented in there, and it could take an injury for either one of them to make it. But I do think LeChance is really going to make a case for himself if he does what I expect him to do in camp and in these preseason games. But it's going to be exciting to watch. And that's why I'm a little tongue-tied here. I'm battered up a little bit. It's been a long day. I'm tired. That's why I am very excited, more so than usual, for this preseason, because of some of these young kids, looking to crack the lineup. But if not this year, at some time in the near future, I do expect to see both LeChance and Haminaho as New Jersey Devils. M Sharp, the more I think about it, I like it. Jack speaks his truth. Jack has seen a good D-man in Quinn. Yeah, I'm not mad at him for it, but I do understand why it irks some people. Hockey Guy says, hopefully Vancouver tanks early so we could trade for Quinn at the deadline. That would be interesting. My buddy Goody, 2 nights in a row of ace. Glad to see me, Hermano, and Christ revving up the content. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils, man. Yo Home says, why worry about Luke when we have Angus Crookshank, bro? It's a fair point. When you got the shank, you don't need anything else. John Faces, in my opinion, keep Dougie on power play 1 until we decide to trade him. If it comes down to trading Dougie, then we move Luke up to power play 1 and put someone else on power play 2. But that's just my opinion and speaking my piece. I'm hoping Dougie's here all year. But Morgan, depends on if we're looking for top bottom 6 with Haminaho or LeChance. Well, I think for the foreseeable future, it would definitely be bottom 6 for sure. Husky Unchained, imagine if we were focusing on the team and not the Hughes sideshow. I'm done with these clowns. I make no apologies. I'm so over it. Oh, man. Woodson says I wouldn't even do Dougie and Mercer for Quinn. Yeah, I mean, Mercer is a tough one for me. He has a role on this team, and people try to kind of dismiss it, but we would feel his absence. Lewis says, I think Casey will be the better D-man in the end versus Nemitz. Both will be good. That's interesting. Woodson says, Ace acting like LeChance is Arnott. No, I'm not acting like he's Arnott, but I'm definitely not acting like he's Arnott. I've said I want to see him on the 4th line. So already, Woodson, like where did I say he's Arnott? Best case scenario, LeChance is a better scoring Bastion. I think he could be a good chunk better than him. I think so. You went 2 extremes there. I never said he was Arnott, but I do think he will. I mean, how much better are you talking, I guess, than Bastion? I mean, listen, I'm not expecting the guy to win the Calder as Rookie of the Year, but do I think he could possibly make some noise and provide some physicality and help the bottom 6? I do think he could. So I think it's somewhere in between your 2 extremes. Nico is king. Can't defend Fitz anymore. He's had 3 months to ship Palat out and get Luke a contract, but now it's officially a camp distraction. Inexcusable. I'd be curious if he contacted teams, like if he even tried to get rid of Palat. I'm curious. And again, I like Palat. I've said tons of times I like Palat. I don't like the $6 million he makes, but I do like Palat. But who knows if he even tried to off him. There was the reports that he did have conversations about Dougie with other teams. Like, I get the reaction to Palat still being here and the whole Luke thing. But the Luke thing, I think, is a tough one. Tough. M. Sharp says LeChance drew lots of attention from other teams in prospects games. Yeah, he was all over the place. 2 really nice goals. He had a third that should have counted, but he got screwed. I think they called goalie interference and wiped it off, and then I think they later admitted that it should have been a goal. Mark says, back to my trade deal. Hamilton is a cap dump. He's a few years from retiring, so it's Mercer and Nemitz in a first. So if Vancouver doesn't play games, they'll accept the deal right away. No, that's why I said I'm not worried about the Dougie piece, but Mercer and Nemitz and 2 firsts, too rich for my blood for 2 years. Mercer is the only player that doesn't get hurt. Yeah, Iron Man. 4 seasons in the league, hasn't missed a game. 82 games a season. Michael S. says LeChance is gritty and can win faceoffs when asked to. Huge plus. Hockey guy Dougie Mercer, KC first for Quinn and Sherwood. I don't know, why is everyone throwing my man Mercer in the trades? Dougie Mercer, yeah. Yeah, it would suck to lose Mercer. Woodson says, LeChance has size. I'd get excited too based on what we've watched the last 20 years. All right, so what are you breaking my fall for, Woodson? I mean, let me live a little bit. The kid's 6'5", and he plays a nasty game. I mean, yeah, like you said, what we've seen the last 20 years, let me live, Woodson. Mike Les says the rumors that they're shopping Dougie again recently. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Samuel says, I think the chance could be the next John Madden. I mean, that's lofty, lofty, lofty expectations. I can't make comparisons like that. John Madden is an underrated OG legend. Just an absolute legend. Him and Pando ran it for years together. What a defensively responsible, just gritty, beautiful pair of players from the old guard, John Madden and Pando. How I got Jeremy Proper. How about the kid that scored 4 goals, AHLer? Are you talking about Lecomte? Husky, I think, I'm all over the place here. If we could get a solid winger for Nico Timo, I think that line could kill the game. Maybe Grits if he shows out. There's lots of potential. Maybe, I think Mercer has a real chance to stick in the top 6 if he could perform. I think there's a chance for him. And I think that has to be one of the most logical hopes for Devils fans. And I guess the organization as well. Like, this was a kid that I think everyone thought was going to be a top 6 player. I mean, everyone definitely thought that after 22-23. And so if he could become that, that would be a beautiful, beautiful thing for the Devils this season. Mark says Quinn is top 2D in the NHL. Got to give up something good. No, I totally get it. But I'm also putting a lot of consideration into the reality that he could come here in free agency in a scenario where we give up 0 assets. So for 2 years, it's a tough pill to swallow. And I'm not trying to kind of undervalue the importance of those 2 years because it is a big 2 years. I preach win now and scream it from the rooftops. And so getting Quinn is a super win now move. But I do think if you make a deal where you're, giving up a guy like Mercer, you're just creating another hole. And I think there's already too many holes as is. The reality is getting Quinn, in my opinion, it doesn't fill any holes. Like, if we're being realistic, a top 6 winger, a big skilled scritty, that skilled grit, a big scritty winger for Jack and Bratt overall would help this team, in my opinion, much more than getting Quinn Hughes. But that's not what's on the agenda here. The agenda is to get Quinn Hughes here. So I'm not going to start talking about fantasy. We're talking about what reality is and what is going to happen at some point. But it's a heavy price to pay for the 2 years. James, players missing training camp over contract issues is pretty lame. We have new coaches and new systems. Luke should be there learning the new structure. Would be nice. But this is a business. Big business. Woodson, LeChance hasn't played 1 game in the big, just trying to keep you grounded, bud. Yeah, no, I know. He might not be ready, but I'm hoping he is. John Fay, why are we doing 2 D-man for 1? I feel like both proposed trades said in the chat are a bit lopsided, but that's just me being me and probably going crazy. No, I mean, listen, I do think whatever Quinn, if Quinn Hughes is traded prior to signing with the Devils as a free agent in 2027, he's going to get a lot. They're going to give probably packages comparable to what some of these people have thrown out. Multiple first rounders, multiple roster players. Justin Smith is calling for Nico 40 goals this year. Would love to see it. My buddy Goody says the people that want to ship Mercer are the same clowns that want to ship Timo. I mean, talking about getting rid of Timo is just beyond absurd, in my opinion. Like a special level of absurd. For the people that hate on Timo, I mean, it's just a lost crowd. It's a truly lost crowd. I hope they get well soon. Beachmaster, Timo, Nico, Brat should be a line. I like to keep Jack and Brat together. Peanut butter and jelly. Most of Mark's deals also allow the Devils to have 6-7 million. What is Mark's deals? M Sharp, Luke has his brother Jack to fill him in if he has to skip some time. Hopefully there's not a lot of time missed, but it seems at a minimum, man, are they going to drop this in the – is this going to come out tomorrow? Or is this just going to drag on? And I will say it's been brutal on social media. On the Devils tweets, it's a funny, like anything they put out, people are just like, where's Luke? Where's Luke? Oh, yeah, this was interesting. Arseny Gritsuk, I guess this is kind of his schedule situation. I guess they give this to the players on, today they gave this out. So, like, there's labs, which I think that might be blood work. The station is UA Labs. That might be blood work. EKG Echo. I guess that's heart stuff. Scat. I don't really know what that is. General medicine, body scan. I mean, they get the full gamut here. They're getting Underzone comes out with the body scan, ortho, dentist, eye, impact, paperwork, sports psych, checkout with Scott. So they got him doing a whole bunch of stuff here. This was Gritsuk's schedule. And then the boys did some photo shoots. We start off with Jackie Boy. It looks like they're playing Jenga or something. I don't know. I mean, Jenga. I feel like that's kind of lame on media day. Here, guys, come play Jenga for a TikTok. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know if they put anything else out with this yet, or if this is just kind of a shot from something we're going to see in the future. But it looks like Jack playing Jenga. And then we see little photo shoots. And this is, they have like, I don't know, I guess this is like a photo booth type thing they made and had a bunch of the guys go in there. But this is absolutely the most, this is the most gangster photo that Jonas Siegenthaler has ever taken in his life. You can see Siegs. They had Bratter in there. You see, Bratter's got some thick calves, some thick legs. That's from the workouts. That's why he doesn't get blown off the puck too easily. Not a huge guy, but a little bull. Shout out to Bratter. Love me some Bratter. Think it's going to be a big year for him. The captain, Nico. He doesn't look he doesn't really look bigger to me. Maybe he is. I don't know. Then someone told me that Elliot Friedman retracted the statement about him looking much bigger. So I don't know. We're going to have to get to the bottom of that. And there's another picture of Nico, I guess, doing some media-related stuff. We got Cody Glass doing some other corny activity. I can't really tell what that one is. And with the oddest photo of the day, Timo Meier with NJ Devil and a banana. I don't know what the hell that's about. I will try to investigate and find out what the deal with the Timo banana was. But there you have it. Some of the photos that came out of the first day of training camp. Woodson says the Ranger blue background color on the comments is bugging me. The software is broke. Turn it to red. I don't think I could change that. Brandon says the Devils is the most predictable team in the league. We already know nothing will happen at the trade deadline. We already knew 7 months ago Luke won't be signed. It's actually a joke. Yeah, I mean, some things certainly seem predictable. My buddy Goody, how do we feel about Glendening on a PTO? I don't know much about him. Veteran, don't mind anyone being brought in on a PTO, but I feel like if he's, in the lineup, something went wrong somewhere along the line. Somewhere along the way, something went wrong. What color is it normally? I didn't change anything, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Army, can't wait to hear LaGreca on the play-by-play. I think LaGreca and Dano are going to be awesome together. I'm excited for it. I think he's doing the Ranger game on Sunday, so that'll be his New Jersey Devils play-by-play debut. John Silva, all this time following you on YouTube, never thought to follow you until today on Twitter. Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, follow me on the Twitter, guys. Not my favorite platform, as most of you know, but it is a necessary evil, I think. And I'll drop the link in the chat. You could follow me on the Twitters. Trying to get more involved on there. Do some stuff on there. Talk some smack on there, here and there. Link in the chat. Follow your boy on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me wherever. Doug, what's up? 100 people, only 30 likes. Yeah, the people are stingy. Don't be stingy. Come on now. Click that button. 30 likes. What's up, Ace? What's up, Doug? Thanks for the reminder. Woodson says Ace learned how to do a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, Woodson, don't be jinxing me, bro. Justin Smith, who scores the first goal for the Devils this year? I'm going to go Bratter. Frank says no one smiles like that when they're playing Jenga. Let's face it. Our players look like they play FIFA. I think that's a lot of the players across the league, Woodson. Come on. Nico is king, says the banana is the phone Fitz has been using to call Luke's agent. He hasn't gotten a call back in 3 months. You guys are brutal. Collect records. What's going on? The same way the team starts camp with all these tests, Fitz should start with the rabid monkeypox. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know, guys. Hopefully this gets sorted tomorrow. Justin, why is the Luke signing taking forever? Because this is a big contract for him in his career. He has a power agent. Our GM is Tom Fitzgerald. And for all of those reasons, it's a situation. My buddy Goody, I mostly heard LaGreca lose his shit over the Yankees on the radio. Not sure how he's going to sound in the play-by-play. He's going to be very good. He is going to be very good. I am pumped for it. I think the Dano and Don era is going to be pretty damn cool. I really do. I think it's going to be and hopefully the boys on the ice deliver and give us some good seasons during however long this lasts for, which is hopefully a while, but you never know. You never know. Don had told me he wants it to be a long-term gig, but who knows how much longer Dano wants to do this. You have no idea. You never know what guys want to do, and so I will enjoy this duo for as long as we have them. John Wooden says, our players literally warm up with a game of patty cake soccer before games. I mean, what do you want them to do? Play rugby? A lot of teams do soccer stuff. I'm not going to kill them for it. Traveling, it'd be funny if the first goal scored was Luke on power play 1. Faye, because our GM You guys are brutal. Justin, who is most likely to get traded to open cap space? I'm going to go with Palat or Dougie. Yeah, Palat and Dougie. Yo, Holmes says, Timo, the Devils, a banana, and a Amanda Stein giggling uncontrollably. Woodson, this new age soft culture, my God. Rabid monkeypox. I got a feeling we'll get a 5-year deal with Luke. We will get all the Hughes brothers, but end up losing them all after a year or two. Well, it would be if Luke gets a 5-year deal, Quinn can come here in 2 years. So you could potentially have all 3 of them for 3 years, I guess it would be. Maria says, the chat's hysterical tonight. First time I've laughed in weeks, maybe months. Well, Maria, most of the time these crazy people are out in droves. It's usually a good laugh, but some of these comments are off the wall. My buddy Goody, who do you think would replace Dano? I think Sal would be awesome, even though it'll be a sad day when Ken eventually steps down. I haven't thought about that. I suppose Sal is an obvious choice. Yeah, I would like Sal. Could be someone completely random. You never know. But Sal, I think, would be a good choice. Justin says, let's go Devils. Mike Les says, why haven't they put Covey on LTIR already? Because they don't have to. They don't have to be cap compliant until the first day of the season. So maybe Fitz is planning on fitting Luke under the cap with a different move other than putting Kovacevic on LTIR. Maybe someone is dealt away after the Luke deal's finalized. It's all going to be very interesting. But obviously, if they do solve the cap problem with using Kovacevic on LTIR, at some point when Kovacevic is ready to come back, they're going to have to make a actual move to fit him under the cap. So maybe he is trying to make that move sooner than later. Jay Snow says, Hughes all going to the Rangers. I can't see it whatsoever. I think that was just clickbait put out by Spittin' Chicklets or Biz, whoever did that. I mean, that's just that there can't be any credibility to that, I don't think. Woods says maybe Fitz is working on bringing Erica back. 8x8 Fitz for GM of the year. Ryder, Novo needs to get in front of Tom and ask some real questions, not Amanda questions. We need to know what's holding this signing up for real. I mean, people are asking stuff like that. You're only going to get, the kind of cliche, blasé kind of answers. He's not going to come out and be like, tell you the nitty gritty things of the negotiations. I mean, that'd be awesome if people did that stuff, but it's just not going to happen. Snow says Fitz will say something stupid tomorrow. He always does. I don't think he appears unless the Luke deal happens. Justin, anything other than signing Luke to a long-term deal would be a big mistake. I agree. Larry says give Luke the 5-year deal. Get rid of Fitzy and let Marty sell the Hughes brothers on a longer jersey stay. Well, I've also, many times when people asked me who would I want to be the GM of the Devils, I said I will take the chance on the great Martin Brodeur, a man that's been in hockey for decades. No guarantee that he'd be good at it, but I will take my chances. I would certainly take my chances. Jay Snow says, I thought Fitz is supposed to speak tomorrow. Yeah, I think I saw that, but that doesn't mean, it's not, that he very easily could be not available. So if the Luke deal doesn't happen, I don't think he speaks, and I think they use he's working on the Luke deal kind of as the justification for it. Like he's grinding it out as we speak. They've been at the negotiation table for days straight, only taking bathroom breaks and 10-minute breaks to eat food. M. Sharp says, my guess Luke signs for 8 years and bags of money. Yeah, it's not going to be cheap. I just hope it's not like 10. That would come off to me as slightly greedy. I'm not going to lie. If it's 8 years, 10 million, I'm going to be like, it's a little greedy. A little bit. Not super greedy, but a little greedy. I would say it's a little greedy. I'm hoping it's like 8.5, 9. Be beautiful. Justin says, Marty for GM. Justin, people like to compare the Bratt and Mercer contract situation to this, but it's different because they actually have the cap space for them. Right now, we don't for Luke. In my opinion, Justin, that really has nothing to do with it, in my opinion, because we don't have to be cap compliant for a few weeks. And so we could sign Luke to the deal and then become cap compliant by either putting Kovacevic on LTIR or trading someone away. So to me, the cap space stuff is not really a valid excuse or really kind of element of any kind. Daniel says, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm late to the stream, but I'm newer to all this. What does this mean? Luke Hughes may no longer be on the team. Daniel, so in reality, he's going to be on the team. The question is, how much time does he miss? Does he miss the entire preseason? Does he miss some of it? Does this, the worst case scenario, spill into the actual season? That'd be horrible. Nico as King says, what the hell's going on with the Kaprizov deal? Turning down the biggest contract ever. He must be looking for the Kovalchuk deal. There was rumors that somehow Kaprizov's camp got wind that other teams would offer him more than the $16 million a year. That's a rumor. So I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but I thought it was from fairly good sources that were saying, yeah, Kaprizov's camp heard that other teams would pay more, and so they turned it down. I mean, $16 million a year for 8 years, $128 million record NHL deal. I mean, to turn that down is crazy. Completely crazy, in my opinion. And like I said last night, if Kaprizov's worth $16 million or more, what the hell is Connor McDavid worth? Yeah, 8x9 is roughly the same as Brock Faber. That's true. But Brock Faber signed that in the old cap era. We're in the new cap era now. Devil Dog says, we have a pretty damn good GM. Y'all just cry about everything, acting like this is NHL 95 or fantasy hockey. Go Devils. Samuel says it's going to be 10.2 times 8. Oh, man. Wow. That's, yeah, I mean, not terrible. Yeah, my buddy Goody, you're right. Some of the shit I'm not going to read out loud. You people are nuts. 10.2 times 8 is a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. Husky and Chain says, love Brodeur, but he can't design a jersey for shit. I mean, do you guys really think he designed that jersey? I mean, come on, guys. I'm sure he sat in on some meetings and gave some feedback, but people are talking like Marty was sitting there with a sketch pad, like freehand drawing this shit. And then I mean, come on. I'm sure he had involvement, but to say like he actually designed the jersey, I think is a bit of a stretch. Max says, everything I'm reading is telling me he's going to sign 8 times 9.5. At first, I wasn't into it, but at this point, the cap rising the way it makes me feel like this could age like Jack's. We shall see. Yeah, 9.5 wouldn't be terrible. I think in my head, that's like the most I'm hoping it is. And obviously, I'm hoping it's less. But wouldn't be terrible. Woodson says, Luke doesn't get north of 9. I call it and jinx it. Yo, Holmes, Ace, what would your ideal new Nico deal look like? Oof. Can they only sign for 7 years now? I forget. I think it's 7 years. Obviously, you want them to sign the max. Ideally, what is I mean, it could be a pipe dream. It could be a pipe dream, but I'm hoping Nico signs for like, I guess we have to see what other we have to see what other guys sign. But like pipe dream, I hope Nico signs for like 10 and a half times the max, which I think might be 7 years. Even 11 million bucks would be nice, but closer to 10 would be nicer. Like 10 and a half times 7 would be beautiful. Yeah, I don't know how to change the color, Woodson. I'm going to look into it. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could change that. I've never done anything with it. Is it normally red? I don't even remember. Nico is king. I hate to say it, but one of those teams to pay more for him is probably the Rangers. They'll have 30 million cap space next year. It's possible, but at this point, I mean, I wouldn't even want to pay him the 16 million, regardless of cap space. Give me two $8 million guys instead. Like, it's not like he's putting up 170 points. Like, this is just getting crazy now. Jack says 20% of cap is limit any one player can receive. Yeah, that's still pretty damn high though. What's the thing this year? Like 95. Yeah, it's 95.5 million. And next year it's 104. So you're talking about you could make over 20% of 104. Yeah, it's 20.8 million. So you're talking about a guy could make 21 million. Holy sh! That's a lot of cheese. That's a lot. Jason, no, 10.2 is wild for Nico in the new cap era in a year from now. 10.2 is wild. Will the Devils overpay for Luke? Well, it depends on what is your definition of overpayment. And are you talking about overpayment today, or are you talking about what the contract looks like in a couple of years from now? I talked about this, guys. It's a calculated gamble. It's an absolute calculated gamble. You're paying them now and hoping that it is a relative bargain in years to come. And it worked with Jack. Will it happen with Luke? Husky Unchained says Brodeur was the primary designer. I mean, come on. You're still talking about this? He was in on some meetings. He didn't sit there and draw it. It wasn't his, baby, if you will. He didn't just wake up one day and was like, here's my jersey, go make it. I mean, come on. Jack says Darlene just signed for 8 times 11 million. It's nice. My buddy Goody, I got you. It used to be red. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. How I got here, Jeremy Proper says Nico 11 to 13. That's kind of expensive. Ryder, last time I checked, Jack said put pen to paper. If he turned and said that again, Jack would be a legend. What, to his brother? Antonino says Woodson, you goof. Brat contract is great and Kovacevic. Daniel, a little off topic, but do preseason games pack in a crowd jonesing for hockey to come back, or are they sleepers? Well, a lot of times preseason games are exciting, but in terms of attendance, I mean, Daniel, it's not gonna. They're not gonna be packed. They're not gonna be packed crowds, and especially when the first one. I mean, granted, it is against the Rangers, but it is preseason. You have no idea what type of rosters they're going to be sending out there. For me, it doesn't matter. I can't get enough, but I'm on the extreme, upper echelon of Devils and hockey junkies, and some of you guys are as well. But at any given game, there's a ton of just what I would call casual fans, and a lot of them are not going to make the journey out to some of the preseason games, and especially when it's on an NFL Sunday. Kind of a drop in the ball, in my opinion, if you're the league, but I'm sure their hand was kind of probably forced with doing all these schedules. But having a game on an NFL Sunday is never a great idea. Samuel says Nico gets 11 or he wears a cat on his chest. Antonino, I have a disgusting feeling about McDavid and the Rags. Yeah, I said that would be one of my worst nightmares. I talked about this, I feel like, a few weeks ago. It does seem like a thing that the Rangers would, pull out all the stops to try to make happen. And the league would absolutely love having the star power of Connor McDavid on Broadway. I mean, the marketing teams, I'm sure McDavid's people as a squad are probably telling him, like, the endorsements will be crazy, man. And it would. I mean, he would get all types of just ridiculous endorsements and all types of opportunities. But I think he ultimately ends up staying in Edmonton. Woodson says McDavid wants to win a cup. He knows New York Rangers won't win one for another 50 years. I think that's true. I think he does prioritize winning more than anything else. And again, if you're trying to win, I mean, your team was the runner-up, lost in the cup finals 2 years in a row. Unless you're going to the Panthers, what other team do you think gives you a much better chance to win than the team you're already on? I guess you can make the argument a couple teams with McDavid would be better than the Oilers with McDavid. But he's a Canadian kid. I think he does value that. I think, kind of taking up the next Oilers great mantle from Gretzky. I think all that kind of plays into his decision. And he's really good friends with Leon Draisaitl, and I'm sure he loves some of the other guys. And so I think he ultimately stays there, but he's probably kind of stalling to probably make some other moves that he wants to see before he commits. But I think he ultimately stays there for sure. I don't think money's going to be an issue. And like I said, there's not many other places where you're like, that's clearly an easier path to the cup than where you are. And so once Edmonton gets a goalie and they figure that out, I think Edmonton's going to be pretty dangerous for the next few years. Steve, no, I'm not doing surf sides tonight. I'm actually doing iced coffee. I had a long day and I'm trying to stay awake. What's in two-way center can easily get 11 plus. If you're talking about Nico, on the open market, I believe he'd get way more. But someone asked what I think the deal looks like or what I want it to look like. I'm hoping it's like 10.5, 11. But I do think if he went to free agency in 2 years from now, I'd imagine someone would probably pay him $13 million a year, assuming he has two good years this year and next. Going into free agency with the cap continually going up, he probably gets $13 million easily from another team. Yeah, I agree. 10.2 for Nico would be a low ball. Call it 11. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Nico would take the Florida discount if he won a cup or two in his last 6-7 years. Yeah, that's a big if. Darlene is twice as good as Luke. Steve Smith, can I buy that hat anywhere? No, this hat was not made available for sale. Hokage 1981. On top of being the GOAT goaltender, Marty's actually a master artist. How dare you not believe this? John Face is definitely going to be a lot of Rangers fans in Sunday's preseason game. Yeah, probably, but Nico is king. Never been to a preseason game, but considering going versus the Islanders next week to see Matthew Schaefer. Yeah. The Isles stud pick should be playing in all these games, I'd imagine. And I'm curious to see who the Devils end up dressing. I feel like last year, a lot of but it was weird because they were in the Global Series, so that affected everything as well. And so last year was kind of strange. Yeah, I'm hoping we see we should see at least a game or two for even the big dogs in the preseason. Definitely looking forward to seeing the big dogs. Samuel, if Jack plays 82, would be a legend. I would love to see him not miss a game. Jason, I'd be happy with a 3-year deal for Luke. I think that'd be a little wild. 3 years, I think, is irresponsible. Frank says, especially on NFL Sunday when Giants are playing. Oof. Giants are just in a sad, sad way after that last game. Justin, what's going on? Yo, Ace, love the show, man. I usually don't chat a lot on here, but I would like to bring something up to think about. I feel like there's so much more going on behind doors with Luke's deal. Here is... Oh, dude, you left us on a cliffhanger, bro. Behind doors, here is... Oh, wait. Here's a continuation. I feel like Tom is still shopping for Dougie and Palat free up cap. Also, what Jack just said seemed like a hint to me about Luke, because I feel like Luke is going to get paid, I'm talking 9.75 to 10.5. Tom knows he has to free up cap, and I feel he's coming close to a deal with another team right now to make this work. I think we are missing the point a little because we need money and want Luke long term. But it doesn't have to happen before, which is why it's hard for me to buy into some of these conspiracy theories just because we don't have to be cap compliant yet. Nico as King says, I don't think Draisaitl would have signed his extension if he knew McDavid was considering leaving. Well, I mean, unless they explicitly had a conversation about it, you'd have to just understand the inherent risk of staying anywhere for a long time that, you know, maybe not everyone who's here now is going to make it to the finish line with you. But I'm sure he probably did inquire. You would think. I mean, if you're Drysdale, I'm like, oh, what's up, bud? Like, what's your long-term plan? You like the mansion you live in? Do you like the city? Nico as King says Stan Bowman is 100% signing Carter Hart and McLeod on December 1. Oh, we're going to find out. We are going to find out. John Face says, I'm calling right now. If and when Edmonton gets a good goalie, they'll win the cup, ending Canada's Stanley Cup drought, but I may end up being in the wrong and they still fail to win it. Woodson says, imagine if we didn't have Luke and Jack, we'd have money for McDavid. McDavid would never come here, Woodson, and you know it. Let's not kid ourselves. If McDavid ever hit free agency, he literally could go to wherever he wanted. I'm pretty sure every team would be like, what do you, the face of hockey, essentially, or one of the faces of hockey. Like, what do we need to make it happen? Jay Snow, trading Dougie now, I wonder what the return is. It's an interesting one. I don't really know either. I don't think it would be much, but I think you get something for him. I think you get something nice if you could put a nice package together. But 1 for 1, I don't know. It's a tough one. Justin says Palat to have a breakout year. That would be great. Max says if Hurricane signed McLeod, I might jump from the rafters. That would really, really suck. The only thing that would suck more is if he went to the Rangers. Jay Snow, why is 3 years irresponsible? It's a prove-it deal, and he's still an RFA. I do believe he would be offer sheet eligible, Snow, if you did that. And at that point, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it because I think he does show what's to prove. I think he does prove it, and then you're going to have to pay him what in 3 years. Let's just say he's putting up 55 to 65 points, playing good D. That's going to be a lot more expensive than what it would cost today. M. Sharp said Oilers had their chance last year but didn't get the goalie. They blew it. Window closed. I don't think the window's closed yet. Craig Bailey, Kia or Ace, the time is now. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils, Craig. Time to win, man. Daniel says, Ace, why can't I figure out how to not suck on NHL 25 on Xbox? You're talking to the wrong guy, Daniel. I haven't picked up the sticks in years, brother. The games are way too complicated with the joystick, sensitivity and all this shit. I was just... Back in the day, it was a lot simpler. A lot simpler back in the day. SJ, need to see more from Luke, but you long-term, it's a bet like the Jack deal. Yeah, it's all gambling. Roll the dice. Roll the dice. Woodson says move the team to a low-tax state. Oh, boy. Justin, love the show, Ace. I always look forward to seeing your live streams. Hopefully this deal gets done soon. Share with a friend. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Justin. McLeod's going to sign somewhere. I think so, too. My buddy Goody says, what happens with offer sheets? So offer sheets, essentially, a team could offer a guy a deal. And if he signs it, you have the option to match it. And if you don't match it, depending on what the average annual value of the deal is, you would receive compensation. And so for the top end, I think the top end guys, I don't know, because they may have changed it with the salary cap, so the money probably changed, but it's probably somewhere around, I don't know, 11 million bucks. Let me see. Okay, so the top tier for 25, 26 is over 11.7. You'd get 4 first-round picks if your guy gets signed away via an offer sheet. But I'm going to drop a link in the chat. It's a link to Puckpedia. I just lost the tab here. Where did it go? Where you could see the compensation levels. of for offer sheets. Snow says, what about trading Dougie midseason after Kobe comes back for Robertson, even as a rental? Oof. That would be super interesting. Wow. A Robertson rental, huh? Because the crazy thing is, I don't like pure rentals most of the time, but man, that'd be a super interesting one. A Robertson rental. That's juicy. Then people would cry when we didn't re-sign him because he wanted like $14 million. If he maxes out at 55, he's not that top offensive D-man we thought. Listen, I'm hoping for 70, 80, but I'm trying to be conservative here and temper expectations. There's a chance Luke doesn't turn into a stud. I mean, what is your definition of stud? Cloud's going to get league minimum, probably. 4 firsts. No, that's just at the highest compensation level, although that's probably what it would be. But this is going to go up every year. It would be close. If not the highest level of compensation, I'd imagine if that ever happened with Luke, he'd be in the second highest tier, which would be 2 first-round picks, a second, and a third. Not nearly as good as 4 firsts, but still a pretty hefty, 2 firsts, a second, and a third, if not in the highest tier. Jack says Hamilton to Dallas only makes sense if you can win if you can within player to term. Even as a pure rental, I wouldn't be mad in that scenario, probably. John Fay, all righty, Ace. I'm out. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night. Good night, John. Louis says Hamilton in 2025 won't get you Robertson, not even as a rental. Probably not. I don't think so either. I think that's probably optimistic. People would offer, I mean, how much more? You'd obviously get a first, but is someone going to give up 2 firsts for him? I don't think so. I mean, Hamilton plus something else. You could be maybe even Dougie straight up. You never know. After we didn't get a first rounder for Toffoli, what the hell, man? I wouldn't be shocked by anything. I would not be shocked by anything. Jay Snow, if we're paying $9.5, $10 million, he needs to have 70 points at least. Snow, do you know how many guys in the team had 70 points last year? 70 plus points. How many New Jersey Devils had 70 plus points last year? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it, and then I'm just going to tell you. Two players on the Devils last year had 70 plus points. Jack had exactly 70 points in 62 games, and my man Jesper Bratt had 88 points in 81 games played. 70 points is not I understand you wanting it, but 70 points is not an easy or a low bar to clear. I mean, 70 points, especially for a D-man. I mean, listen, obviously there's defensemen around the league doing it, but Luke still is very young. I hope he could do it, but I can't say that I'm expecting that right away. I obviously hope he has multiple seasons of, 75, 80 points, but I think expecting that it's kind of a lot. Yo, Holmes says, has everyone been asleep when Jack was signed? Luke commands top dollar now. Zom Booze, I still say tell Plot go stub his toe and go on LTIR. Devils get to use the money to get Hughes, and a useless spot could go to a player that tries. Well, okay, but then when the playoffs come, what do you do? Got to be compliant now. Lubin Park, what's going on? New Devils fan here. What's the most term or money you would give Luke? I think you have to go for the max 8 years. And I think you got to, max, probably 9.5. That seems like a very fair number in my opinion. And I hope it's less than that. But I think 9.5 would be like my, come on, guy. Like, let's be real here. 9.5 by 8. Traveling says 3 years is too risky. If Luke ends up being a great player, you'll be dealing with the same shit in a few seasons again on top of adding Quinn. Yeah, and the price being more. Or at least what you would, if everything goes according to plan. Oh, wait, someone just tweeted some shit about this. Hold on. I lost it. I hate Twitter. It was on there. I don't know. I'll have to find it later. But yeah, I mean, with higher stakes. Robert, the Devils should only trade Dougie if Nemitz really steps up his game this season. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Just trading Dougie away earlier in the summer, like many people wanted to do, you're relying then on, Luke is still a young defenseman in this league, and you're talking about having Casey play every night as well as Nemitz. I think that's asking a lot of kids. Half of your defensemen are very young. Robert, also, what would Nemitz command on a new deal? Oh, that's going to depend hugely on this season. That could be a messy one too. Stay tuned for the next saga of Devils contracts. Louis says Luke is the Dougie replacement, not Nemitz. Yeah, but it's still relying on several inexperienced young defensemen with Dougie moving on. For sure. It's going to put strain on the rest of the D. Jack says NJ has a very good young core group, a couple of breakout years from guys, and a tweak to the roster. They are contenders. Completely agree. Robert says Casey should be used as trade bait. I mean, that's definitely an option. And I understand the appetite for that potentially, just because, we have tons of defensemen and we need help up front. Nico is king. We can't lose Dawes for nothing. Maybe we could throw him into a cap dump deal with Plot and get a few decent picks back. Yeah, that people have been talking about that as well. But I just feel like if Plot was going to get moved, it would have happened already. I really do. Robert, there's no room for Casey on the blue line when we're locking up Luke long term. I agree that his path is blocked. You never know. D Dukes, what are the chances Plot is playing hardball on a trade they got lined up and doesn't want to waive his no trade? Also, no Mercer trade ever. He's this generation's Sarge. I'd have to believe that Plot doesn't want to go to a bad team. So I don't know how many playoff teams or playoff caliber teams would be interested in Palat, but I certainly, can't blame him. I wouldn't, if you're him, do you want to go play in a team that's rebuilding? Like if you're Palat, do you want to go play in San Jose? I certainly don't. Chicago. Traveling says Nemitz plus goes for Quinn, easy fix. Snow Ace, what could Dawes be worth to Edmonton? I'd imagine it's probably just like a late pick. Maybe not late, like a third rounder at best. I don't know. I feel like if we could have got more than that, GMs had to reach out to Fitz. It's going to be an underwhelming return, but what do you think you're really going to get for him? and they know the situation we're in. But hopefully, if they are to move him, there's at least a couple teams in on him to drive the price up a bit so we get something. Holmes said, if I'm Casey, I'd be pissed with Fitz for signing a bunch of mids. I don't think they're over in terms of the depth chart. I believe Casey's higher than them. I just think that Fitz likes veterans and likes to kind of have insurance policies. All right, guys, but this has been fun. Luke officially a holdout. Hopefully tomorrow is the day. We've been saying that for quite some time now. The boys hit the ice tomorrow. I mean, that's super exciting. Looking forward to seeing what they got going on. If we get a look at any sort of new lines, what is Sheldon Keefe going to test out in the first day on the ice with the boys? Super exciting stuff. Very, very exciting stuff. But appreciate you all joining me on this late evening. Lots of stuff in the works. I'll be back soon, and we just wait. We continue to wait. The waiting game continues. Please hit the like for your boy on the way out. Someone just reminded you. Thanks, Holmes. Hit the like, you bums. And hopefully today's the day. But at this point, now I am preparing for the worst. And the worst could potentially be missing all of the preseason. It really could. Wild stuff. How did we end up here? Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Jeff.